Hello and welcome to the first workshop in our January event using the Scrapworx About a Girl collection. My name is Venetia Ramsey from Scrapworx. So we're going to start with the first layout and we're going to work with some paper from both the Essentials and the full pack or the primary pack. So from the Essentials pack, you are going to need the pattern paper called Snapshots of Yesterday. We're going to work with the front of it. You will also need Pretty as a Picture. We're going to use the front of that one. And then Happiness is Homemade. We're going to use the back of it. All right. And then for the embellishments out of the Essentials pack, you need to cut out just this little piece over here and cut off this branding strip, because we're going to be using the back of that, so you'll need that. Okay. From the Essentials pack, the one that says Portraits of Life, where you need to fussy cut out this little girl, but I'll run through all of that with you again, exactly all the little goodies you need. Then from the primary pack of About a Girl, the one with the main page, you are going to need this little girl in the green over here. You can fussy cut her out. We just need one of her. Okay, from the page called Storytime, you need to cut this page in half, and we're going to work with this part here. And then out of here, you're going to cut out this tag as well as this journal card. But we'll, like I said, we'll go into more detail with that. That is that. And then from your tearing, from the laser cut sheet, you're just going to need one of these like that. Okay. So I'll run through quickly all the patterns, everything that you need to cut out, and we'll run through it one more time. So for your base page, I'm just using some plain cardstock, I think it's called Ivory. Okay, so I'm going to use that as my base page like that. I've already inked around the edges because I think you all know how to do that, and I don't think you want to sit through watching me ink. So on some of the patterns I've inked and some I've just sanded around the edges. I'll talk you through exactly that. Okay, so from the Essentials pack, from your pattern paper called Snapshots of Yesterday, you're going to cut out two pieces. All right, you're going to cut a strip of this. You're going to cut to a 22 centimeter strip across like that. Okay, and then from that 22 centimeter strip, you're going to cut a piece 6.5 and 22 centimeters. So, and that is going to go, one is going to go over there, right against the edge of the page there. We'll get to the exact measurements later, and that one's going to go right against the page like that. So that is out of the page called Snapshots of Yesterday, a 22 centimeter strip. Then you're going to cut a 6.5 centimeter piece and a 20.5 centimeter. Sorry, I said 20. You need 20.5 and 6.5. Okay, so that, and they're going to go over there like that. Right. Then out of your pattern paper called Pretty as a Picture, you're just going to cut two strips at 10 centimeters. Okay, so out of Pretty as a Picture, I just have the two 10 centimeter strips. I just cut 10 and 10. You can cut off your branding strip first as well. You know, don't throw anything away because we will use a lot of the little bits and pieces in some of the layouts later. So this one is going to go over here like that. So it's 3.5, so it's right from the top. And this one is going to go more or less over there like that. All right. Then out of this piece here, the piece that's called Happiness is Homemade, you're going to cut two strips, two centimeter strips across the top here, and we are going to punch them out with a scallop punch. What I do, because I know I'm using the back of it, I always cut from the bottom, because then it just gives me that 1 centimeter extra for this side, and then I don't cut into too much of this, and I can use the other side as well. So from the bottom, cut two 2 centimeter strips like that. Okay, one for the top and one for the bottom, and we will trim those down. So from that's what you need. Okay, and then for your scallops, they're going to go at the top and the bottom of this one. So what I would do, I can give you a measurement, but I think it's easier if you just put them on your page first and then cut the little piece that you need to go behind, to run at the top. But I will give you a measurement if you need it. Okay, so this one is cut to 20 and a half centimeters, but I cut mine a little bit longer to 21 so that it can tuck under. All right, so that goes under there like that, and then just the little piece that's left over can then go on the other side like that. So that's more or less where that's going to go. All right, so now we know where our base page is taking us. You will need to have your photographs on hand. So you need 6 photographs that measure 8 by 8. And then I'm going to mat them onto a light and then a dark. So out of your light cardstock, you will cut 6 pieces to measure 8.5 by 8.5. And out of your dark cardstock, 6 pieces to measure 9 by 9. And they're going to go more or less over here like that. Okay, so like I said, I've inked around the edges of everything. I used frayed burlap, distress oxide ink to ink around the edges so that they can go over there like that. Okay, and the next one over here, and then another one here, and another one over here. All right, so I very lightly went around the edges. I wanted to keep this very soft, and that's why I chose to just sand around the edges, just to expose a little bit of the white of the pattern paper without too harsh a finished off line. Right, then you're going to need 3 photographs that measure 15 centimeters across by 9.5 centimeters down. And you're going to cut a piece of pattern of your dark cardstock to measure 16 centimeters across and 30.5 down. And then you're going to cut this one to 15.5 to 30 centimeters. Okay, so 15.5 by 30, like that. And then we're going to just put the 3 photographs directly onto this mat here like that. Okay, right, so then we now need to, what I want you to make is the tag. Remember I told you on the one page, this one here, was it this one? No, sorry, let me just get to it. There we go. So the pattern paper called Story Time, you need to cut off your branding strip. Okay, keep that because we're going to use that. Cut your page in half and the back of this side. So this side here, you're going to cut out a tag that measures 10 centimeters across and 20 centimeters down, and then you're just going to cut your corners. What I do for that, to get my corners done, all right, we'll just move this out. I just use my cutting mat. You can put that down and in your like that, and then I just put my ruler down on that diagonal and then just cut my corner off on the diagonal. So I'll turn it around so you can see like that. I go from 1 centimeter to get a 1 centimeter off cut from there, and then just cut off that corner like that, and then you get it exactly, well, almost exactly on either side. Okay, so that tag measures 10 centimeters across by 20 centimeters down, and that's going to go more or less over here like that, something like that. Okay, all right, so that is all the patterns in place. Then I forgot to tell you that there is one more that you're going to need. Let me go and find it. So out of your primary pack, there is another pattern paper that you're going to need. It's this one with the bridge. All right, so this is going to form part of your embellishing. So the page called Sunshine and Happiness, you are out of this top right corner, you're going to cut a piece like that, okay? And that piece that you're going to cut out is 9.5 centimeters by 15. So you're just going to cut that little piece out of that corner like that, all right? And out of that 9.5 by 15, from the bottom of that page, you're going to cut off 2.5 centimeters. So ideally, I want this one to go in over here, more or less like that, and with a little gap, and we'll fill up that gap like that. Okay, so that's kind of the patterns that we're going to need. So if you remember that little branding strip that I said to you to cut off from this page here, cut this off. We need this little piece here. Okay, so you're going to cut that piece in half. So I need a little 0.5 centimeter to be cut, and I'll show you why we're going to do that now. So that's this piece here. So I've cut that 0.5 centimeter, and again this is 20 measures 20.5 centimeters. That's going to go over here like that, so it's just going to finish off the join and make it flow. And then the other piece that's left, you're just going to cut, because obviously that branding strip is 1 centimeter. If you cut it in half, you're going to cut from the other piece of this, you're going to put over here, and it's just going to run underneath like that, just to finish off. So the little piece that's left over is going to go over there. All right. Then we're going to need some of those embellishments. So if you recall, I asked you to cut out this little girly here. Okay. Yeah, so the branding strip, sorry, came off the other one. I'm confusing you. Don't know where I've put it. Oh yes, sorry. The branding strip, you need this branding strip from the details. Okay, sorry. We need to cut this branding strip. And it's this little piece here from this light green that you're going to add there and there. Okay, I had the wrong page on top. Then from this page, you're going to cut out this little blue mushroom and this little lady. So just cut this little piece out here. And then you will also cut these, this out here, this little diagonal black line. You need to cut that out as well. All right, so take those out. From there, then like I said, from this page we need this little girl to be fussy cut. Okay, and we need to go back inside there because there's a few things. Then if you recall, from this page, from the back of your About a Girl, we need one of these. You need to cut out one of those girlies. Okay, and then so if you remember, this is where we cut the tag out of this side. So you'll be left with this side. You need to cut this out. We need this. We need just this tag. So let me show you how we're going to do that. So I've cut out the tag. You need to cut it out with that little piece of dot on. We need that little dot. Okay. From here, you're going to cut this out like that. So I want that. And I fussy cut this piece out like that. Okay, so we need this piece and that piece there. And then from this little piece that's underneath here, this of these, we just need a little piece of that. So just need to cut a little piece of that out, and you're going to cut that to 9 centimeters. So we need that. I'll give you an overview of everything in a minute. And then one more goodie that we need. I may have already put it away. Let me find it quick. There we go. So also from the back of your essentials cover, if you turn it upside down, there's this Life is Better with Giggles. You need to fussy cut this whole little piece out like that, along with the strippy. And I'll show you. So I have that. And then I kept this little piece that we cut off, we're going to use as well. So again, cut this piece. Once you've fussy cut it out, you're going to cut it and it is going to become the border that goes at the top here like that. And we'll fix everything and make sure it goes in the right places in a bit. And we have this little piece, it's got to come down a bit. This little piece that's finishing off here, we're just going to have that go on this side like that. So if I give you a little overview of all the little goodies. Right, and then from your grey board, we would have already painted everything in. So you just need to cut off the little lady. So all the work has been done on that. So an overview of like that, there's the little mushroom that was next to this little lady. I cut mine a little bit narrower. I cut a little bit off the top and a little bit off the bottom so that there wasn't so much green on the top. And then I have just cut a little piece of brown cardstock to be able to mat it onto like that. All right. Then here's that little strip. Then these ones, I've cut them to 9.5 centimeters. Okay. So I'll show you like that. So they're cut to 9.5. That little piece that you cut off, right, they're already the right width and everything. So we've got that. So you can see that's all we really need extra. Oops, and the tag. Okay, so not a lot of embellishing. I just wanted to keep this one the start of it to be nice and simple and easy. We're going to do most of the work on the tag. So my plan is to put that there, put this over there, take that down and frame it like that. Okay, I like the way that looks. And I really want this 237 to show. I didn't want to cover it up. And if I'd used the full tag, I think that's what would have happened. So I'm just going to pop this over like that, just a little bit, like that. Oops, let me just move this. I've overlapped a bit. For a second I couldn't understand why it wasn't fitting. Okay, so there we go. That goes there, then that goes over there like that. And I need this to look like it's there with purpose, so we're just going to end it off with that stripe, something like that. And then I have this little tag that I thought we could just pop in underneath, or maybe we'll do it on the top. I think it'll look better on the top. So that can go in over there so that it looks like a bit of layering. And remember, I always say, once you start to stick everything in place and nothing's moving around, it kind of makes more sense. Then this little piece here, we're going to have going over there like that. I want it to slightly overlap, but I still want to be able to leave enough space to be able to journal. So maybe bring it over a little bit like that. And then we've got this little goodie. I think we'll drop it down here. Pop it in over there maybe. Remember, we can always change things around. I've got that over there. I actually think it's going to look a little bit better at the top here. Part of that, like that. We'll move it in, play around a bit. And remember, you can chop and change your mind as much as you want until you glue. Then we can't. Okay, so that's going to go there. Then I've got this little lady. I think I wanted to go more or less over there, and we might have that then go up to overlap like that, something like that. And then my two little ladies. Let me move all this paper out the way. So over here, we've got that over there, over there. I want one to be more or less over there, and then I want, because she's got no legs, her body's been cut off, I want it to look like she's behind the big one, tucked in like that. Right, and then I will raise this one and make this one flat. And then we have the little lady, and once I've cut the little bits off and pushed them a little bit closer, it will fit in here quite nicely. All right, so I can even move her in a little bit like that, but I've got all that space that I'll make up to go in over there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just, I'm going to put glue on everything. So I'll put on some music, put glue on everything, and then I'll be back to show you exactly where to put everything. They'll give you your measurements for where everything needs to go. You can also follow your sketch if it's easier for you than listening to me tell you exactly where everything must go. All right, so I'm going to put the glue on. Remember, I use the Tombow glue because it dries tacky and gives me a chance to move things around. I think I just want to quickly show you. So I don't put on a lot of glue. You can squeeze the glue out, and then that glue that gets on, you can use the tip of the glue just to move it around. So you squeeze a little bit out and then just move it around so that you get a little bit of glue. It may look like I'm putting on a lot of glue, but I'm not. I'm actually just moving the little piece that I squeeze out. I'm just moving that around with a tip so that I get it everywhere. Okay. All right, so I'll see you in a bit. Right, so we're going to attach the pattern papers. We're going to start with the piece that was called Snapshots of Yesterday. You're going to attach your piece that measures 20.5 centimeters across, 22 centimeters down, the right side of the page, 4 centimeters from the top of the page. Let's see, yeah, so that's more or less in the middle. So you can either go 4.5 from the top or 4.5 or 4 from the top, so you'll have 4.5 from the bottom, so it's up to you. We're going to stick that one in place. Okay. So you want that flush against the end and 4 centimeters from the top of the page. I'd like to get it in nice and straight, nice and clear, and then I just go back in and double check. I mean, you can eyeball it. You don't even have to measure if you don't want to. Okay, and then remember the glue is still wet, so it's going to slip around a bit. So you just want to make sure to hold it in place before you burnish. And I already shifted it. Oops. But because the glue does take a bit of time to bond, you can move it around just a little bit. You have that bit of grace with this glue. Alright, there we go. Then just make sure you get all the air bubbles out and that it's nice and flush. Then you're going to need one of your pieces that pretty as a picture, the 10 by 30 and 0.5, And we're just going to attach that flush against the center of the page like that, right? So remember, we want to tuck this way. We're going to tuck something in on the side here, so I would just put the glue down, not flush against the side, because we want to tuck things in, and then flush against the piece that's going to go to the middle, and then just a little bit down like that. Okay, so that one goes flush against the center, flush against the bottom, and we can always trim off at the excess at the top if we need to. Definitely want that nice and straight like that. Okay, so also again, remember, just hold it in place as you burnish to get everything where it should be. There we go. All right. So now we're going to add our scalloped border. So this one I cut exact, but you can see, even though I cut it to the 20.5, there's still that little piece that needs to be tucked in underneath like that. We can do that quickly. Right. So the dot is called Happiness is Homemade and comes from the Essential Pack. Like that. And this one, you're going to do the same. It's just going to get tucked in over there like that. Pop it in. There we go. Right, so before we add anything else, we'll quickly do this side. So remember, this pattern, its friend on this side, we're putting it 4 centimeters from the top of the page. And flush against the side. I'm going to put that in place. Light burnish. And to make sure that I actually have it straight, I will move this one over and double check it. I like to line up at the bottom, because when it lands up in your album, it falls to the bottom. There we go, that looks pretty straight to me. So once that's in place, then you know everything else will fall into place quite easily. Again, holding it in place and then just giving it a good burnish so that all the air bubbles are out. All right. And now we need to add the other strip, 10 centimeter strip, and I want to put it about 6 centimeters from the side. Okay, 6 centimeters, 6 centimeters. I'm just going to make those little marks. And this one gets stuck down, nothing tucked in and out and under it or anything. We've just got stuff going over it. So again, just remember that we are going to put the scallop border is going to tuck along the side, so you just want to leave a little bit of an allowance there. Or if you've cut yours exactly to the right size, then it won't matter. Flush against the top or flush against the bottom, and then at the 6 centimeter mark we can trim any excess off the top. There we go. Once it's in place, you're just going to burnish that. There we go. Got to add our little scalloped borders. And this one's going to slide in over here. I may not have left enough. I have. There you go. So it's a bit skew, but I will just trim that off. And the same as with this one. I'm just going to slip that in underneath there. And then we can just burnish that in place really well. Okay. Right. So that's where we're at for now. We're going to add the little borders. Okay, so remember I said we want to add just that little joining strip. Okay. So this little 1/2 centimeter, remember this is the branding strip that we cut off. So I'm just putting it so that it kind of goes half over the first pattern and a little bit over the dotted pattern, and that's going to slip in underneath there. So it kind of just, you know, makes it flow. It gives you a join, covers the join basically. Right, and that's where this Life is Better With You. I want it to go over here so that it kind of looks like it's a tab that's behind. So you see, if I put it flush against this pattern, there's not enough space. But if I just drop it so that this piece here lies just underneath the dot, like that, then it looks like there's enough space. But it's too high like that, so it needs to be down. So not half over, it is going to be in line with that dot, with the dotted pattern. Just going to put a little bit to run across like that. Remember, I'm just lining it up with a dot, so it's more on the bottom for the bigger pattern, so that happy snapshots of yesterday, instead of on the Happiness is Homemade. So a little bit of fiddling and fidgeting. And because I've sanded the edges, if a little bit of the pattern at the bottom does show through, you're barely going to see it. Okay, there we go with that one. So we'll attach the smaller piece, the smaller border that goes over here. Okay. Remember, this one needs to be on the pattern paper, not halfway across like that. And I'm just going to trim off the excess. I'm going to push a little bit of it to go under, like that. I'll come back to trim that off in a bit. And then the other piece, pop that on now. Again, just going to eyeball it and kind of go half, kind of half over, half not. And then again, before I burnish it in place, just going to double check that I have it, if you can see, the same height as this one. Right. Oops, moved. Okay, I'm just going to trim that little bit off before we carry on. There we go. So that's where we're at for the moment. Next up, we're going to just attach our photo mats. we need this done before we put the tag, so we know exactly where the tag needs to go. So this one is going to go flush against the top, flush against the center, flush against the bottom. If there is a bit of an overhang, we'll just trim it off. But in theory, it should fit perfectly, which looks like it is. I'm just going to pop it on here so I can see where the white is. And there we go. Give that a good burnish. So like I said, there are 3 photographs going on over here. One's going to go there, one's going to go there, and one's going to go over here. Alright. Then these ones are going to start from here and make our way over. And I'm going to have them closer to the top than to the bottom. So they're going to go in over there, more or less like that. So you are looking at about 5 centimeters from the top of the page. So where your first row is going to go, and then from there it's easy enough to get the bottom row in. So I'm just going to measure my 5 centimeters. Okay, and then I'll stick the first one and then do the next one and the next one. Right. So remember, I like to attach mine slightly away from the center, so when it slides into your page protector, the photograph doesn't get hooked. It's not too close to the inside of your page protector. So there we go. So there's just that little gap. It's about 1 to 2 mils away from the edge of the page. Right, so we're going to measure for the next one. And about 1 to 2 mils away from its friend. Go like that. Making sure my spacing. There we go. Just going to pop my ruler in like that. That'll help me. There we go. Remember, if you're unsure if you're going skew or straight, or if you're not, if you hold your page up in front of you, it's much easier to see if that line has gone straight or if you've gone a little bit skew. But that looks reasonably straight. And even if it goes just slightly off, once you've got your pictures on, you're barely going to notice it. And the next one. You see, I haven't burnished them. I've just like tacked them down in place so that when I hold it in front of me and I think it's a bit skew or in the wrong place, I'm able then to shift it around until it looks straight to me. Okay, like that. Alright, so happy with where that is. I'm just going to turn it over and give it a good burnish. Right, there we go. So I know I'm going to have a photo there, there. Okay, so far so good. So what I want to do is build the tag with you before I attach it. So remember, we have a little border. So I have this little lady that I want to go on. I wanted to have that little brown border. Right. So we're going to start at the bottom with our nice diagonal. I'm going to attach, voila, I'm going to start with a pattern at the bottom. And attach it at the bottom like that. So I've got kind of the same amount of border going around the top, the sides and the bottom. Good, Matt. And then we're going to pop in the diagonal strip, flush against that one, and then the other pattern, just like that. And then the other at the top like this. I'm going to just lift this up because I know I want to be able to tuck in that little tag. I don't want it to be stuck down too much, but this top one can definitely be attached in place. Alright, so we already know that we want this tag over here. I just want a little bit of it to stick out like that. But I'm not going to push anything down push hard on anything to set it because I might want to change my mind. Okay, so I know that this tag is going to go here, more or less something like that. I will give you a measurement from the bottom. So let's put it at 5 centimeters from the bottom of the page, more or less. When you've got it in place, you can eyeball it and figure out what looks good to you. Yeah, I think that looks fine. I don't want it too far down or too far up. I think that is a good place for it. Okay, and then we have the piece that we're going to use for journaling. That little piece is going to go in more or less over here. So I have it kind of in line with this part of the 7, but further down like that. I think, again, not going to attach it in place, press it in place in case I want to change my mind. Here's that stripe. Okey-dokey. Then we have this little goodie that's going to go in. And I think it'll look okay here. Although it might look a little bit better upper like that. Yes. So then it hides a bit of this gap over here. So if we take it up a little bit and a little bit closer to the tag, we can even move the tag over a little bit more, I think. Do that. And then we can drop this goodie because now we need to close this here. We can use this then to make it work a little bit better. And then I think the tag can then also shift up a little bit. I think that works. That looks good. The layering looks about right. And I have enough space then to add the journaling. I can add this little lady. I'd like it to be kind of off the the tag a little bit like that, slightly over the photograph. So once my photo goes in there, that'll work very nicely like that. Maybe just bring it up a little bit more. And then we have the little mushroom. Yeah, I think that that will then finish it off nicely. I actually think I like it over here, like that. Thinking we can maybe even move that up a little bit more. Good. And then to put the she's going to go in over here, like that. And she's going to tuck in just behind her, slightly under this pattern. I'm not going to lift it, I'll just push it flush against there like that. Right, so once I've got my photos in, I will slide in the little foam squares behind there and there so that they're up like that. I think she can even move in just a little bit more. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to attach the title. I will start with a Y here and work my way down. I just want to, once I've put the first ones in place, I will speed up the video. But once I've explained it to you nicely, you don't need to sit and watch me go through the motions of sticking it down. Right. So I cut off the little joining strips. And I think that it's going to look nice if you use this line as your, like a line on a piece of paper. And I always like to start, especially if I'm doing something like this. There we go. So that I don't run out of space, because if I started here and then I have to put the last little bit of it over there, then it's going to look a bit odd. Alright, so I'm going to speed up the video and finish attaching the title, and I will see you in a bit. there we go. That is everything stuck in place. I think that it's turned out really well. Like I said, I'll add in my foam squares when I'm done. I like the way the cluster has turned out over here with just enough space to add a little bit of journaling. I did go around the edges with a black gel pen and then just added a little bit of white to make these edges stand out just a little bit more on the tag itself. I hope that you have enjoyed the process, and I look forward to seeing you in the next workshop. Thank you for watching.